Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to this video of us going over price action, looking at what's going on for the day. I know we have been a little short on the channel for the last few days. Really just kind of sitting back looking at price action just like everybody else. I know there's a lot of fear in the market. Is it going to go up? It's going to go down? What's happening with all this, that, and the other? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at where we're at. Where does it come from, really, extension, and where are we going right now? And actually, where price action is sitting is pretty good, but there are some things that we are looking at right now that could pull it down. Now, like we talked about in our past videos, it does have levels that it can sit in and even pull back down to and be more than healthy in those pull downs. So let me go ahead and take a look at those with you, and get into the chart and see really what we have going on the next couple of days. So I'm jump on over here to the jump up to 15 minutes. You can see, so price action's been pretty tight. We've been kind of watching it. It's been kind of topping out here. It does look like it's kind of creating a mini hit forward up here currently on the 15 minute. If we go back on Friday, we did get this hard run up. This was the top. It was exhausting. Then we got this nice pullback up into Saturday, and then fell down pretty hard into Sunday. Well, that was a nice run, and that did show some pretty solid exhaustion. You can see that it bounced here and then created a nice little drop back, which is the classic position that you're looking for after that hard snap like that. And then you can see, yeah, it started to run up. This is where people start getting excited. It's going to go to 80,000. But in reality, you can see that really just kind of came back into that zone where it tried to bounce and kind of bounced. Well, yesterday, if you went and looked at yesterday's levels and kind of what we've been looking at, you didn't have much more than what you had here. It started to break out and then broke down. So really the levels were kind of right here where it's currently sitting actually in price action. And you had your bottom, which isn't any real different than what you see right now. And you can see it's actually putting a lot more aggressiveness down to the downside. Now it did create a nice, I mean, it was fighting through the 200 on the 15, which is nice how it kind of held through there, but it did snap pretty hard down through there, but it did hold. If you go out to the 1 hour, you can say that it's been kind of trying to grind on this, but we're also starting to slump. So looking at the 15 minute, you might be thinking, hey, that's a nice little pattern here, create a lower low, and then just start to kind of set up like I was talking about back here, right? And it looks like it's just going to run up. I'd say be careful. It has a hard wall, and it just did it actually very easy. Something around 76,000, 76,500. It's right in that pocket. Now, I will say if it clears through this wall of 76,000, 76,500, it more than likely we're probably going to see that 80,000 up here. That would not be surprised. It would not surprise me if we head back up in this area. Mainly because you can see, yes, how this pattern already started to create this bearish behavior, and really we kind of tested this 200 like I was talking about, and the main line in the sand. I don't see it mark here. So now, if you're a smart trader, you're not going to look at this until you can get above this key area, which is our trigger. And you might say, hey, well, you're just marking that because your trigger. I'm marking that because there is a pretty hard liquidity wall that's holding, and look at it as a wall. It has to get up. Now, if you were putting on a short on a trade, you're going to want to put your short in anywhere you decide to put it in, but you're going to want to put your stop above that wall. That means saying the level is going to hold and we're going to come down. Right now, it's not going to take a short, but if you take a short in this area, as this broke down on this 20, on this 200, that was a really good strategy. That was also breaking through our borderline. So we were saying, well, we want to follow the system, which I want to show this to you because a lot of times we're in a high price range. So this is what would happen, and it's still happening to you right now. More than likely when it got out. So this is your first breakdown. So that would have said, hey, you were getting in. More than likely you would have got in right on this candle. once it got back above this 200, that is a hard trade. Now, if we go into our 5 minute and you're evaluating that, this is the snap down. It came right back up through the 200 rough because it really didn't go anywhere in the end. It just kind of fell and snapped right back up. Like I said, it did go to target 1. You could have taken it out if that was your reason to get out of that system. Was 74,911. It did have a higher potential to drop, and I am going to point it out here now. So that was just looking at the 15 minute, but let's go out to a higher time frame. And this is why I want to point out why the wall is more important than you realize, is because here, let's go out to the 1 hour. Well, you can already see I already drew these patterns, and I'm saying that this is the wall. Well, this is also would be this shoulder here, which goes back to, if you're going to draw this into a head and shoulders, you can grab this pattern here. This is the break. This is roughly that line right through here. So I'm going to start right here, and just basically I'm connecting where they go and stop and turn. And you can see how it's lining up with the areas here. Now, this technically would come and break down. So yeah, this isn't it's kind of a leaning head and shoulders here. Now it's not completed yet. Now if this starts to come back down through here and cover at least 50% of this area, so right back down in this kind of area, this is probably rejecting. And then you're like, well, where's this going to go? Well, you basically just take the top to roughly the line, which it's right here on this dotted. And I'm going to take that target and I'm going to go to the breakout area, which is somewhere right in here. You can see I can already have some of this stuff marked. This does show this could break down if this plays out right down into this lower area, 73,000. Let's just say right off this green area, so 500, 73,500. If you were looking at an area to kind of have this target down to. Now this is on this current head and shoulder pattern. Now, we also can go out on the 4 hour, and the 4 hour kind of already set up. You can see that I drew I can have this in here as well. Now this could be a bigger head and shoulder pattern. So let me go ahead and connect this area right through here. That's basically your left shoulder idea. You could build that as the head. There's your pullback. Here is the right shoulder, which is sitting right in this exact same area really as before. This is kind of that 15-minute head and shoulder that I drew in there, right? The smaller time frame. So you can see I just moved the 1 hour's head and shoulder, and we really kind of created a bigger head and shoulders. And I already have this one marked because I was watching this myself. So this is just basically the head to the neckline. And really we started to come down here, and they rejected really right at that 50% level. That's why you can see I have it marked as well, because I've been watching this for myself. I'm having a hard time with trading as well, because it's not really giving us a clear direction, and you can see why. Really, you're kind of in this range down here for this bottom. A range up here, you're kind of just splitting this area, which we're kind of above that range right now. And you can see this little window of time right here for the fight that I'm currently showing you. Now, if it clears through that level, that's why I said 67.5 is a pretty hard wall right now. And if it can clear through that area, then you can see the trauma that it's already fought through. That's why I'm pointing this out. Now we're out on the longer time frames for that. And this is a possibility. This is another thing that you see here is in a cup and handle. So here is the cup, there's your handle right there, and then the handle plays out. So basically we just inverted the current pattern. So there is the cup, the handle, and then the handle typically plays out. So the handle is at the top of where we were just talking about. This is also roughly the golden pocket for a pullback. It's sitting in that. The higher time frames right now do show they could roll over. There's not super strength in this that it could go completely roll. But if I was just looking at this right now and those patterns that I was talking about earlier, Really what I'm seeing in the charts is this hard run, basically, where it stalled actually right here, and then it kind of pulled back, but then it came down and made a lower high, I mean a lower low, sorry, and then it ran up and then created a lower high right here on the right shoulder. So, I mean, obviously this chart's inverted, just let me just flip it over. So more than likely, this kind of shows that it's did a pullback and now it wants to go back this way again. So yeah, it's not looking the best to get through that level. Now it can totally defy and break out, and that's why I'm watching this area, and that's why I also said putting your stop where it belongs. That way you don't get stopped out in these lower time frames, because that's what I keep hearing that's happening to people. They're in this whipsaw frustration because they can't figure out what's going on. Well, that's when you want to zoom out and do what I was just doing and showing you this. So we're looking at longer time frames. We looked at the 1 hour, the 4 hour, even the short windows of time, and how they're creating those same little mini moves inside these larger moves. Now, we don't know which way it's going to go either, but we do know why I was talking about this hard line in the sand of 76,500. And we're kind of sitting back at this current area, which I'm still inverted on the chart. But you can see why, if you were going to be taking this trade, why you would want to keep your stop above the wall. Because price action obviously ran up and stalled out, and again, could be going back down. I don't know. But if it does break out of this area, well, I can definitely know that it's going to go probably to 80,000. Because it's already defined the laws of gravity when it comes to the chart analysis. So am I bullish? Am I bearish? I don't really care what I am. All I'm doing is watching price action, and I'm going to take a short or I'm going to take a long in the price no matter what. I'll just put it on based on what it is, but I'm going to wait for it to happen. So now if I'm going to look at getting into this, or if I'd already been in this, you're on for the ride. You jump on the roller coaster and you're stuck, right? You don't get out till it gets back to where you got on. That's kind of what's happening right here. That's why you risk what you can afford to lose. You put your highest probability trade on, like I've talked about. You put your stop out as far as you can. So going back and taking a look at this, we're sitting in the 15-minute. The 15-minute right now does show that it's trying to want to curl over. It did have a nice solid run up. This is the session. The day ended, and then a new session kind of opened, if you look at it that way. That's why I usually don't like to trade in the evenings, right around that time frame, because of this reason. Or if I was in a trade, a lot of times I like to just get out, and because I don't want to ride the trauma. And we'll kind of see where it goes. Now, if we go down to that lower time frame of the 5-minute, what are we really looking for if you were in this trade? What am I watching for this to have happen? You can see we got above the 200 on the 5-minute here. You can see we also got the cross of the 21. That's very strong. Now you can see that this is starting to show a little bit of rolling over. And really you're just waiting for it to make a little bit of a higher high off the current price action, but it'll be really a lower high off of this. And roll back over, and you're kind of in that zone right now where it could easily take this upper area. And that's why we talk about, really, if you're going to be putting a trade on, give yourself a little bit of room, because this could just snap up, clean out the stops, but you're sitting right on the other side of that wall, right? It could just come over the wall, peak, and then drop down. It could just stall out like it already did and push down. Now, if we go into the 1-minute chart right now, it is trying to actually hold. It looks pretty solid right now in this area where we could see this possibly hold price action. Now I do see we are at the bottom, and it is trying to push up. So that is a pretty strong sign for the 1-minute. But like I said, that 5-minute is starting to kind of create that lower high. We're starting to get into that grindy. You can kind of see that it did do it here as well. This kind of needs to start to commit, or this could start to roll over and come down and start to break down. This is zoomed in quite a bit on the 1-minute, but there is your 200 that it needs to get through. It's really tight right here right now. So this probably is either going to spring out and take this area out, or it's going to start to head back down and take out this 200 and then kind of reset. We'll see where it goes. This is a 1-minute here. So don't get too excited if you are thinking, hey, how long, what should I be doing? That's what you need to be analyzing as a trader, what I'm doing right now. Like, you don't just take your trade off and say, I don't want it to hit me, I'm going to take it out now, because I still take a pretty healthy loss, because you're already 75% of the move. You've already got most of your loss has already been taken out of your perceived value. That's why you don't do that. Don't ever just get out of trade, and do not hit the reverse button on an exchange. That's not for 99% of the traders out there. The reverse button is I don't know what I'm doing button is what I would call it. So never hit a reverse button on a trade. You exit a trade, take the loss, re-enter the trade with a solid idea of why you're going to get in. So if you just jumped in this trade right now and you said, I'm going to put the stop right here and run this up, then I'm sad for you, because you did not practice your trading. So you might be saying, yeah, but I got below the 30-minute low. Well, there is no liquidity wall down in here. There is nothing that says that this cannot just come straight down. So you might be like, well, how do you know that? Well, there's other tools that you can use, but you don't really need to use them. You just know right now, the only way you're going to build a liquidity wall up here is you have to get through this wall that I'm just talking about. This is the hard line in the sand first. Once it gets up here, this is what we talk about, you get the close and then you get the back test. And this is how you build this trade, is just like this. This is what we would be looking for on this trade. So that's what I want to see that happen, because price action gets up. Then I can look at getting in, and then more than likely this is going to build a wall of liquidity down here as this price action had built through here. And if price action started to come back through, it may just come back down in here and rotate and go back up. Because ideally it's really just telling you it wants to go up and hit this 80,000. So if we drew this trade out here and hit, say you ran the full amount, that's 3.9. That's not a bad little trade. We're looking at the 1 minute, so it looks huge, but yeah, if you really just jump out to the 15, it's not quite as a big deal on the charts. So hopefully that helps you understand price action and really what is going on, and helps you understand too, like what you should be looking for. Like I said, if you got in here, there was nothing wrong with it. You are still in it because of the rules, and that's what you're watching for. You're being patient. You're saying, yes, I know I could have got out of this one. I didn't. Now, could this build what I was talking about here? Yeah, and this could rip up, but is it already exhausted? Well, I just drew this line to kind of see, and it's not even that long. Like, so really, let me measure it. It's like, here's basically your neckline, which is pretty much right here below the 30-minute low. So let's just draw out the neckline of the break, and it's somewhere right in here. So it's basically where I already had marked. It already pretty much came up to it, came up to the wall. If the wall's there to hold, it's not gonna go through, and that's kind of what we're watching right now. Yeah, you're just kind of sitting and relaxing, and don't start stressing. I mean, this could easily, yes, come up and tap this area, might pull back a little bit, go up, make a higher high, and then stack back down, something like that, right? This could all just start to roll back over and start to just bleed back down and then head down. Now, I showed you both sides. I showed you the bigger time frames. I showed you the 1 hour, the 4 hour, kind of what's going on. I also drew in, head and shoulder patterns, and why we're looking at current strength in this. And we'll have to kind of see where this is. You would expect this to probably broken down right now, and you're looking at the 15-minute. It did come down pretty hard in this area, and then get the rejection. But this could have also came and got people that had shorted and put their stops in between the wall and the current price action. So this may have just cleaned out these people. I don't know. That's the no man's land. This is the battle zone. This is where you don't want to be playing in anywhere in this zone right here. You want to be out of here. That's a no-go. So if you're already in the trade, you're trading in the no-go. But like I pointed out, you don't want to be looking at taking a trade right here for a short, or hit the reversal button because it looks like it's going to rip up. A lot of times that's usually when you make the worst mistakes, is this will run up, you sell out, and then, yeah, like I said, this comes right back down. Even if it came back down and closed somewhere in here, you're pretty much back at a break even anyways, close enough to where you're not taking a large loss. So hopefully that helps explain and let you understand some of the patience when it comes to trading. And if you executed the way I'm pointing this out today, even if it comes back and says, you know what, I'm going to come take your stop, and you're like, I lost money on this trade. That's frustrating. Yes, it is frustrating to lose money. I don't disagree. But that also is the name of the game, and you need to learn how to manage it, and that's exactly what we're doing here. You put the highest probability in your favor. You looked at where the energy was in the charts, and you made a sound decision. It was very wise the way you took that trade. The system said you could go ahead and trade this. You could have got a target 1. Typically, though, target 2 is the solid move. The other thing is, if you're looking at these moves, like what we're talking about, this was really telling you that you're within the pullback and more likely the drop in the chart. So I would not expect it to not come down to at least 2 or 3. So I would have been like you with you as well. I would not have thought, hey, I'm going to take it out of 2. Now, I know some people would say, hey, well, I took it out at wherever it was because it bounced right here on the 1 hour 200. Yeah, be careful with using the 200s that way. They're moving averages and they are helpful, but you got to look at all the stuff when you're looking at things. Now, this may have been the strength and stronghold, and it says I'm going to hold this here and go take out that top. Those are the probabilities. That's why it's always the no trade zone. You took action when it was said to take action. You put your stop where it belonged. You put your target where it was in a safe target. And now you're looking for this to execute in the direction that it should have, really, with the highest probability. So that is a good trade, is what I would say. That's a good trade right now, and it's a good trade to be sitting in and being patient. And not being stressed out that what could happen. We just talked about what could happen and where the trade is and why it was, and with the setup and everything that's going on there. So, all right, let's go ahead and end this video, and like and subscribe. If you do have questions though about any of this kind of stuff, ask. We're here to help. We'll point things out as much as we can. We do the live stream. Today was a live stream, and it talked about pretty much staying away from the charts. That's what Gross Monkey talked about today, and mainly because here's your 2 targets, right? Like I said, if you wanted to take this trade, even though it was telling you to stay away from it, if you don't want to really manage the system that way, and you like to just trade off of the triggers are pretty accurate and pretty solid, and you can see how it played out today. We were just going through that. But ultimately, it just said, hey, this isn't that great of a trade, and really just stay out of the market, and it's going to be choppy. And really, you could just say, hey, that's choppy. If you're asking me where it's going to go right now, if it holds this and starts to break down, those longer time frames that I was showing you do have some pretty good strength for this to go ahead and get drawn down into possibly a lower area, maybe even back down to the 73.5 level. That is a high probability. We'll just have to watch and see how it plays out. Until then, if it starts to break through and hits through these necklines that you can kind of see that I drew on here on this 1 minute, I still have them on here. It could easily draw down here. This is a breakout line. So if this starts to snap, break through, comes through there, yeah, I mean, that's positive trade. You got to split it out a little bit, right? But it's still a good trade. So, all right. Talked enough for you. Probably ears are starting to burn. Hopefully you're excited about getting into the charts and managing your opportunities that are given to you based on price action, and be able to build yourself what you want or consider your financial wealth and freedom. That is what our hopes for you is, and we'll see you in the next video, guys. Talk to you soon. Thank you very much.